So I've had a couple of days to just reflect on this entire experience that I just went through. And I wanted to share some of those reflections with you as this kind of final vlog piece. One of the main goals that I had going into this campaign, and one of the reasons that I did this, is because I wanted to demystify the process of running for office. And I want to share with you, now that we're on the other side of this, what that feels like and what my state of being is like in this time. I will say that it's very difficult to go from 150% go, 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 out and about every single day to zero. It's a I feel sad in a way, but it's not even that I lost. It's that I don't have this intensity or this thing that I'm working towards anymore. And of course, I'm still working towards stuff, and I'm going to be going back to my job at the National Research Council, which I'm super excited about. But there is a, it's an ending of something. It's an ending of a chapter. It's the ending of an experience, and like it's natural for anyone when they end something to feel a sense of loss and a sense of grief. But at the same time, I have to say I am tremendously excited about what I was able to do and accomplish. And looking back on everything, I don't regret a minute of it, and I loved every single second of it. So I'll talk a little bit about today, some reflections on that. What were the highs? What were the lows? What did I expect? What did I not expect? And what did I learn? So in terms of the highs, I think just the people that I got to work with, the conversations that I had with people, the events that we had, our pub night at Shenanigans, and the Lamesa night where we ate Filipino food with people and just having a good time, which was a nice break from the intensity from the campaign. I really, really enjoyed visiting seniors' residences and giving talks at schools. One of the sort of more profound moments was one of our volunteers and a good friend of mine, Amanda, played piano at a seniors' residence. And it made me think, probably in that moment, that was the first time that these folks had heard live music or piano because of the pandemic in a long time. And that was a very special moment. And I remember we were just sitting there in sort of this like cafe patio area thing, and there's glass and the sun was pouring in, and Amanda was playing this really beautiful piece of music, and I felt, this is what it's about. This is why I did this. Why I wanted to run for office and see a slice of Canada that many few people don't get to see. So that was really those moments of walking down the street and someone saying, "Hey, I voted for you," or being able to connect with people in a real genuine way. Those were the high points, and of course the team and just the innovation and the stuff that we did in the campaign. We reached over 90% of the riding. We knocked on or touched at least 40,000 doors. We did it all on a budget of $40,000. We stopped fundraising halfway through because we had more than we need. We did really innovative things that the other campaigns and the Liberal campaign actually ended up asking, "Hey, how did you do this? Why did you do that?" So, it just goes to show that there's still room for innovation in politics, and there's still room for innovation in any incumbent situation. So I really, really enjoyed that too. Some of the lows of the campaign, there were a couple of times there just being physically exhausted and thinking, I don't want to go out again today, or I just need a break. Mentally, I was always in it, and I never doubted for a minute why I was doing this. But those were some lows. A lot of the stuff that happened before the pandemic, and watching the Green Party itself kind of crumble, and feeling helpless and kind of trapped in this hurricane and whirlwind of news being released and leaks happening, and you're just sitting there as a candidate thinking, wow, there's nothing I can do about it, feeling that helplessness. That was a super big low. And I the night of the election, I was in Toronto Centre with Anime Paul's team at a press conference, and we were watching the results and the polls come in, and I really wanted to crack 10%. I really, really wanted to crack 10%. And unfortunately, we didn't get that. And so that's kind of the one disappointment that I have with the campaign, is that we weren't able to crack 10%. And the reason why it's so important is that at 10%, if a party gets 10%, they get reimbursed 60% of their election expenses for their next campaign. So I really wanted to get over that benchmark so that the next campaign, whether it's me or whether it's someone else, would have a good base of funding to start with. And unfortunately, we never got it. So that's the one sort of that's another low I think I had throughout the experience. What surprised me, was really just the attacks from the NDP, and the sort of the fastness and how things can switch really quickly. So I'd reached out to every candidate for every party when I became the candidate, and I was able to talk to most of them. And the NDP candidate was really nice in person. We went to this climate rally thing, and we signed a pledge together. And then the next week, she would post something on Twitter attacking my endorsements and posting a picture of my flyers. And I felt that was a bit disingenuous and a bit weird. And then it came out at the sort of 11th hour of the campaign, the last week, that she had published a bunch of anti-Semitic comments, and that kind of ruined her campaign. And then I also, like, throughout the campaign, I ran into a couple of their volunteers who were just being mean and non-cordial for no reason and calling me names and stuff. And I felt that was really weird, which is strange, right? Because like the NDP and the Greens are like ideologically supposed to be similar, but actually what you find is, I felt that I was the most positive throughout my campaign, which I'm really proud of, but the NDP, they were not, and it really soured me on them. To be fair, there were other NDP candidates who were super nice and who apologized on her behalf, and I think it really just went to show what control or how much the culture gets set by the candidate. And so I'm happy in a way that we didn't have to see the fallout of that. Although I'm a little bit disappointed that the votes split the way that they did. I really thought that I'd get more from that and get into that 10% range, but I didn't. I was surprised at how just nice and cordial Minister Carolyn Bennett was. I mean, I wasn't surprised necessarily, but it was refreshing, right? To and I guess they never really saw me as a threat, and they probably thought I was just this cute green candidate who's always nice, which is true. But I just felt, every step of the way, we were just having such a positive campaign. It was very mature and gracious, and I really enjoyed that. Some big lessons that I learned from this experience. One is that no one cares about you more than you care about yourself, and you can get into your own head and think, like we live in these echo chambers online, and the more time you spend online, the more that you can fool yourself into thinking certain things. But being out into the real world, standing on a street corner and just trying to say hi to people and having the number of people who pass you by ignoring you, or, going door to door knocking, and you'll get 10 people who won't answer or will slam the door in your face. But then there's that one person that stops on the street corner, or that one person that has a conversation with you on their doorstep, and it really gives you energy and gives you hope to carry on. But it really made me realize that no matter what accomplishments that you have as a person, and no matter how you are as a candidate, none of that really matters, really. What matters is the party and the leader. And that's kind of, a consequence of the electoral system that we have, and also the riding that I ran in, right? Like urban downtown Toronto ridings are locked for Liberals, and they will continue to be. And a lot of it is this notion of strategic voting, anything but conservative. And with the way that the election turned out, with the Liberals kind of coming to neck and neck with the Conservatives on a popular vote, a lot of people don't know or understand the electoral system or think about strategic voting in the sense of, they think that if they vote for Liberal or whatever in their riding, it's a vote against the Conservatives. But in some downtown and highly urban and progressive ridings, the Conservatives don't really have a shot at winning. So that was interesting too, just to kind of see how the votes played out, and to realize that as a candidate, you really don't have much impact on it at all. Like, no matter how hard you try, you can only move the dial about 5-10%. So I ended up getting about 5% higher than the national average, and it's still around 3 times higher than the national average. But that's not, for all of the effort and work that you put into it, you need a good, strong party and infrastructure. You need a national campaign. You need the media to be on your side. You need to have that momentum. You need to have a leader that is charismatic and is willing, or not willing, but is able to really inspire people. And I was inspired by Enemy, but I felt that there was just so much baggage that happened in the lead up to the election and throughout, and the fact that she really wasn't able to travel as much, and the party wasn't in good financial condition to run a strong campaign. All of these sorts of things that in hindsight, you're like, why would you run for this party? Why would you do this? Or if your goal is to get elected. And I've come to realize, like, yes, that's true. Like, but my goal in this was never. Of course, it was to get elected. But I've always said I did this for two reasons. One, because I wanted to help demystify and lower the barriers of entry for other non-traditional candidates, and I feel that I really, really accomplished that. And two, like, selfishly, I wanted to learn. Like, I've always been a startup kind of person. I've always been someone who is just really fascinated with the way things work and the levers of power and why they are the way they are. And politics is just such a unique experience, and one that I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. So I can say fully and completely that I learned so much about the process, and I was able to control so much of that process because I ran for the Green Party. I was able to be the person who made the decisions in the campaign, along with my campaign manager. I was able to really do things differently, and in many respects forced to, because we didn't have the infrastructure or the money or the know-how or the connections within the community that the other parties had. And building all that from scratch, that's really difficult, but you learn a lot from doing that. And so selfishly, I feel great about what I accomplished. I feel great about the reputation and the name recognition I was able to build. I feel great that throughout the campaign we never had a big mishap or scandal, and that coming out of it, it's only been positive. There's a lot of question when you start this. How will this impact my career? How will this impact my reputation? And I can genuinely say that it's only made me a better person. I've grown tremendously throughout this process, and I've learned a lot about leadership and about politics and about how dealing with situations and thinking on your feet, and I think that's just going to make me a more stronger and better scientist and innovator and whatever I choose to do in my life and going forward. So I'm tremendously thankful for the experience, and honestly I'm a little bit worried, like, going back to the National Research Council or going back to any job will pale in comparison in terms of pace and intensity to running a campaign. I know it's not sustainable. I know you can't do that forever, but I loved every minute of it. I loved the excitement. I loved the energy that it took to do it. I loved the unknown and just the speed and the pace. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it completely. So will I ever do this again? I'm going to be honest and frank. I feel that I've accomplished everything that I needed to accomplish doing this. I proved to myself that I can do it, that I can innovate, I can run a positive campaign, I can fundraise money, I can attract volunteers. I feel that I accomplished everything that I needed to in a first time campaign. So if I'm going to run again, I want to run to win. And to be honest and frank, like, with the way that the Green Party is right now, and the sacrifices I would need to have in order to run in a riding, for example, like Guelph, that I would have a shot to win. I'm not sure if I would run again for the Green Party. I don't know. I mean, like, I want to. I do. But I also love Toronto, and I love this city, and my fiance loves this city, and I love the energy of it. And I don't know if I'd be willing to move to run somewhere, to start over and grow those community roots. And you have to, I think, as a member of parliament, you really should have a connection to your community. And if I want to run for the Green Party and win, then I'd have to move somewhere where I have a chance of winning. And I don't know if I'm willing to make that sacrifice now. I'll have to make the decision later. But so, will I run again? If I do, it's because I want to win. I feel that I've achieved everything that I could have with this campaign, and there's only one more thing to achieve, which is, make it to Ottawa. Those are some reflections on running. I'm gonna leave this YouTube channel up. I'm gonna leave all of this up because as I said, I want this to stand the test of time, and I don't know if anyone is ever gonna watch any of it ever again, but I hope they do, and I hope they find it interesting and useful, and I hope that it does help to demystify the process, and you get to see what it's like on the other side. I'm so happy and I'm so tremendously proud of the campaign that we ran, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't. I felt that we really did show a different way of doing politics, so a more independent way, a more positive way, a more energetic way, and I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that. So I think that's it for now, and I will see you all some other time soon. Until then, keep on fighting, keep on doing what you're doing. I hope this was interesting, and bye.